Well, hello and welcome to this video. I'm going to be explaining on today's video eBay's top rated seller program. For those that don't know who I am, my name is Jason and I'm a full-time eBay reseller. And I also make videos just like this to help people in their reselling journey. So thank you for stopping by and let's get to it. You may not be aware, but eBay's top rated seller program offers benefits to those sellers who are experienced and delivering great service on their platform. I myself am a top-rated seller, and I'd like to explain to you today how to become one, as well as what benefits you can expect once you do. For starters, let me just start by explaining exactly why you would want to become a top-rated seller. First, the top-rated seller badge. Each of your listings that qualify for the top-rated seller badge will get this nice little logo that appears on the listing as well as in search results so that people know when they click on your listing, they're buying from a top-rated seller. This badge alone lets the potential buyer know that the item they're viewing and the item they may purchase is from a trusted seller who is going to take care of them, provide great service, and a great product. So one of the reasons why I'm a top-rated seller is because of this icon, this badge that appears in the listing and informs the buyer. The next benefit, though I can't really quantify how much this helps, is eBay's promise that for those top-rated sellers, they will get a boost in search results. So when a buyer comes along and does a search for an item that you may have, in the search results, your item may pop up a little higher simply due to the fact that you are a top-rated seller. So this is a huge bonus which can help increase your sales just because you're being seen more. Your items have more visibility, which ultimately leads to greater sales. Next, top-rated sellers receive a discount on their final value fees at the end of each month. So let's say that your eBay final value fees came out to $200 for 1 month. eBay will then give you a 10% discount on those fees, which will result in a $20 savings. Although that may not seem like a lot, when you add up a year's worth of savings, you could be saving a few $100s just by becoming a top-rated seller. The fourth benefit is this. Whenever you have that buyer that has a return and they send you back an item that was not the same as when you sent it, in my case, I've had this happen to me where I've sent off an item new with tags, the buyer gets it, takes off the tags, wears it a couple times, and then sends it back. Well, what can you do with a used item? You definitely can't sell it as new now. As a top-rated seller, eBay allows you to give a 50% refund, meaning half the refund amount, for situations like this. So if you sold an item $100 new with tags and the buyer returned it and it was clearly worn, you can give a refund of $50 instead of the full $100 amount. This can result in quite a bit of savings if you have people who are taking advantage of the system. I personally have had this happen to me a couple of times where the item that I received was not the same that I sent, meaning it was a different condition, not new, it was used. And eBay, without questions asked, allowed me to give a 50% refund and they ate the cost of the rest. The next benefit is this. If a buyer opens up a return stating the item is not as described, and really they just changed their mind, meaning it doesn't fit or they just didn't want it, it's not really an item not as described case. But some buyers use this item not as described return in order to force a return and get free shipping. eBay is claiming that for their top-rated sellers, if a buyer is clearly abusing the item not as described policy, then they will refund up to $6 the shipping label back to the seller, meaning you won't have to pay to have that item sent back to you. It was clearly the buyer abusing the system. eBay recognizes that and they reward their top-rated sellers. So those are a handful of reasons why being a top-rated seller is a huge perk. Now, you don't necessarily have to be a top-rated seller in order to have great sales or in order to make a full-time living. But let me just suggest that if you are wanting to go a little ways in helping the buyer feel more comfortable buying from you, that you should become a top-rated seller. So now that I've told you the benefits, let's talk about how you can become a top-rated seller. The first requirement is this. You have to have been on eBay and had an active account for 90 days or more. So if you just started your eBay account, you're going to have to give it 3 months before you can become a top-rated seller. The next requirement is this. In a calendar year, you must have 100 transactions resulting in $1,000 of sales or more. And you don't necessarily have to wait a full calendar year to get that. As soon as you hit 100 transactions and $1,000 in sales, you automatically qualify for that part of the top-rated seller program. The third requirement is this. You must offer 30-day returns. This allows the buyer to receive the item and within 30 days of the purchase date, send it back for a refund if they wish. Let's be real, with more companies doing business online, the industry standard has been to allow returns. If you get it and you don't like it, you can send it back. It's one of the perks for buying online. And it's one of the things that takes the risk out of buying online. And eBay wants to parallel that as well on their platform. A lot of buyers don't want to buy something if they can't return it. It doesn't mean they're going to return it. It just means they want the risk taken out. I myself, personally, when I buy things on eBay, I only look at sellers who offer returns. So I filter out all those sellers who don't offer returns because I don't want to get something and be stuck with it. So whether you're looking to become a top-rated seller or not, I would suggest that you offer returns, especially if you're a clothing seller like myself. The next requirement is this. You must offer same-day or one-day handling on all the orders that you receive. So if you have same-day handling, that means you're going to ship that item out the same day. And if you have one-day handling, that gives you at least one more day to ship that item out. If you have 2 days or more handling time on your store, you won't qualify as a top-rated seller. And the last few requirements are more geared towards your eBay store level service metrics. And basically all that means is, are you shipping out on time or are you shipping out late? When buyers have returns or cases that they open, are you handling those or are you letting them go? Are you constantly out of stock on items and having to cancel orders? All of these things factor into whether your service metrics qualify you for your top rated seller status. So let's go to my computer now and I'll show you exactly what I mean by all of this. And then I'll show you the metrics that I have and show you what you need in order to become a top rated seller. So from my home screen here, my seller hub, I'm going to click on seller level. That's going to take me to all the service metrics that I just mentioned. At the very top of this screen, you can see it says my seller level. And it says my past seller level was top rated, my current seller level is top rated, and basically what they're projecting for my future status is top rated. These can be different and sometimes will be, depending on whether you're meeting your metrics or not, or whether you've qualified already or haven't. So if you've never qualified for top rated seller status before, and I'm guessing if you're watching this video you haven't, then your past and current seller level will probably be above average or something like that. Basically, those three things are just telling you what you were, what you are, and what you could be. So if you're looking to become a top-rated seller, it will help project for you whether you will get it the next time they evaluate your store, which is monthly. And if you are a top-rated seller and you've lost the status for the next month, it will show you that, projecting that you will lose the status the next month due to poor service metrics. Next, let's scroll down. And if you look at transaction defect rate, I'm going to go ahead and open this up. As you can see by looking at this transaction defect rate, you must have 0.5% or less of your sales transactions resulting in either cancellations due to out of stock or defects. You can see that my defect transaction rate is 0.46%. Now this is pretty high for me. Usually it hovers around that 0%. I've had 3 transactions where I either had to cancel because I was out of stock or I had to refund because they were broken or something like that. And when I open it up, you see exactly that. There were 2 canceled transactions because I didn't have the item that I sold, and so I had to cancel it and it was my fault. So I got 2 defects for being out of stock. And then the third one there, which you can see, was a cases closed without seller resolution. Now, if you have a buyer who opens up a case due to either not receiving the item that they ordered, or the item is not as the same description as what you listed, or they're just not happy in general, they can open a case and you have to respond. You have to try and work with them to work it out. Now, if eBay steps in and you don't respond at all, then you can get a defect. And as you saw here, I got a defect. Now, in my defense, this was an item that I had called eBay on specifically and spoken with them. It was a refund that I was going to give, and I had a question about it, but they opened up a case for me anyways, and it got closed out, and there was nothing that I could do because there was no time in between there. So this was a defect that I received that I probably should not have. But lo and behold, it's on there now, and now I have to be careful with my metrics to make sure I don't fall below the qualification and lose my top-rated seller status. This next row, late shipment rate, is basically a requirement that eBay has for top-rated sellers to make sure that the items they're shipping out are getting to the buyer when they're supposed to get there. So whenever you create a listing based on the handling time that you select for your store, whether it's same day or 1 day or more, eBay then populates based on your location and the buyer's location when that item is going to be received. So the buyer knows I can expect this item to come by this day within a range, a window of time. So for this requirement, all you need to do is make sure that you're shipping out on time and that it's getting to the buyer when it's supposed to get up to the buyer. Now let's be real. There are times and things that happen outside of our control, circumstances where a package is late. In this case, as long as you upload tracking and you shipped it out within the time that you said you would, eBay will cover you. If you uploaded tracking to the item and it's late because the postal service was late getting it, it's not your fault, and therefore you won't get a ding in your account for this reason. So that's a very key component. Make sure you're uploading tracking to all of your orders. And let me suggest this if you're not already doing it. Print your shipping labels directly from eBay and the tracking number will automatically be uploaded into the listing for the buyer to see, and therefore you'll be protected. Now this next column is cases closed without seller resolution, very similar to the transaction defect rate. They want to know and make sure that you're responding to cases, that you're giving refunds when you need to give refunds, and you're not just ghosting other buyers, that you're not just vanishing and not resolving issues. eBay doesn't want to deal with your mess if they don't have to. And so if they have to step in because you didn't do something, you didn't respond, you didn't help the buyer out when they needed help, then you could get a case closed without seller resolution. I have one here and it equates to 0.15% of my sales. Now I'm not too worried about this column as well because I could still get one more and probably be okay, but two more and I would probably lose my top rated seller status for the next month. But 0.15% is not bad, and like I said, with most of these, usually I'm sitting at around 0% anyways. This next column, tracking uploaded on time and validated. If you set up one handling time for your store, that means that when each item sells, you have 1 day to upload the tracking number and to ship it out. Basically, in order to meet this requirement, you just need to make sure that no more than 5% of your transactions result in the tracking number being uploaded late. If you just ship out when you say you will, then you won't have a problem and you won't ever have to worry about this. As you can see with my metric on this, I'm at 99.24% tracking has been uploaded on time. I'm not even close to that 95% mark or the 5% late, so I don't really have to worry about this metric. And if you look below, you can see that I had 5 packages that were uploaded late, resulting in that 0.76% ding here. So I'm doing fine and I'm not going to worry about this metric. I should not have a problem with this at all. I ship when I say I'm going to ship, and occasionally I have a late package. That's kind of an overview of the service metrics that eBay wants to see in order for you to possibly qualify as a top-rated seller. So once you've met all the requirements that I've laid out in this video, you will notice that you too will become a top-rated seller. You don't have to do anything, you don't have to apply, you'll just automatically get it. And if you're ever confused as to whether you'll be a top-rated seller or not, whether eBay's projecting you to be or not, you can always come to this seller dashboard and it will show you exactly if they evaluated you today, whether you would become a top-rated seller. Now let's take my scenario. I'm already a top-rated seller. Let's say I get another transaction defect ding and my rate goes up over 0.5% for this column right here. In that case, I would lose my top-rated seller status. So in the section right here titled, if we evaluated you today, and then it tells me when the next evaluation is, instead of saying top rated, it would say above average, which means I lost my status. Above average is great, but it's not top rated seller. So although in the past I have lost my top rated seller status for a brief time, you can quickly get it back just by bringing your metrics back up to where they were and qualifying once again. So for those sellers who are top rated seller status and lost it due to service metrics, at the very minimum, you'll lose it for a month and then you can get it back. It could take longer, just depending on how long it takes you to get it back. But as long as you're following these guidelines, as long as you're meeting the requirements, and as long as you're doing what you say you're going to do, shipping out when you say you're going to ship out, and providing great customer service to the buyers, you're going to be fine. And you will see that it's really easy to become a top-rated seller. All right, well, I hope you found this video very helpful and beneficial for you, and I hope you're on your way to becoming a top-rated seller. If you have any questions at all over anything that I covered today, please feel free to reach out in the comments below and I'll do my best to respond as quickly as possible. If you're looking for other how-to videos, I have a range of videos to help people like yourself and other resellers learn from me, as well as just know how to set their business up to be successful. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you have a great week, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.